Okie dokie. So, I've talked on this channel before about training when you're tired, right? And the fact that you are still able to do something. And today, I think I found a new something that I can do when I'm tired. Because usually I just say, get a good pump, get the blood flowing, get your recovery going, which is true. That's a super good thing to do. Get the blood flowing and recover faster. But today I want to try something different as well, which is mobility training. Because as you know, I can squat a pistol squat with 54 kilos of added weight. But when it comes to just a normal pistol squat on the floor without anything under my heels, I can't do it, even at body weight, because I fall backwards. I don't have the mobility. So today, I'm feeling sore and stiff and, sluggish, whatever. I'm starting to feel the real effects of the threshold run I did a couple days ago, combined with that amazing leg day. The leg day was amazing, but now I'm starting to feel the consequences more and more. And so today, if I do anything remotely heavy on the pistol squats, it's just gonna hinder my recovery. But I can use this situation to my advantage. And you can too. When you are, feeling stiff and sore, you can do some mobility training because basically it's like doing strength training with weights on you, right? You're gonna handicap yourself. It's gonna feel heavy. The same way, if you do mobility training while you're sore and stiff, it's going to be a handicap. And once the handicap is gone, once you're recovered, once you are, back to normal and feeling loose as a goose, the stretching is going to feel easy. So today, in old Dragon Ball fashion, I'm going to use my stiffness and my soreness as a handicap, to make my training more difficult. And basically, I'm gonna, try some pistol squats. Don't use as much assistance or elevation under my heel so that I have to focus more on mobility. And, you know, mobility might not be the most exciting part about training, but it's these kind of things, these inventive kind of things that if you just think about what you are able to do in the moments that you're not able to do much at all compared to normal, right? That's how you turn from a normal human into a specimen. So right now I might be a normal human, but if I keep going like this, and I keep taking the bad days and turn a spin on them, and do something useful anyway that I wouldn't have been able to do on a normal fucking day, right? That's gonna turn me into, a stronger self, who knows what I will be doing in 2 to 3 years. So that's exactly the plan today. So mobility training, with just body weight and basically get the blood flowing, get the recovery going, but also, become not, I don't want to become a ballerina, but, become flexible. That's that's kind of my point. So I'm gonna head outside first, do some finger-assisted Nordic curls to get a good pump, and yeah, then head back inside for the mobility training. So another exciting day ahead of us. Okay, so the way I'm gonna approach today's training is in an ascending style. I've talked about pyramid training before, where you build up the reps and then you build back down, or you build up the intensity and you build back down. And basically, ascending training is the same, but only the first half. So I'm gonna build up until I can't no more in reps. So I'll be doing, right now I did 8 reps, then I'm gonna go to 10, 12, 14, 16, until basically I can't complete the set anymore. And that's gonna allow me to, build the training up right to an intensity that's appropriate for me today. Because when you're tired, it's difficult or more difficult than usual to basically, see what training is appropriate for you, what level you can handle. And by doing it in this ascending style, you'll arrive right at that sweet spot. So let's continue some more sets, and that's gonna give me a good pump. Okay, this might just be the last sit. I'm gonna use my middle finger because my index fingers are starting to hurt. Alright, fuck it. Okay, so hamstrings are done, and workouts like these really confirm that there's some meat growing on the back of my legs, you know. I can feel the pump. Feels like I'm growing two horse legs, which is the goal, of course. So I'm not unhappy about that. And I'm also unsatisfied, not unsatisfied, you know, with this training in general. Because if you noticed, right, on this beautiful recovery day, I went to failure, which you might think to yourself, wait, isn't that a bit weird? Don't you want to recover? Don't you want to keep some reps in reserve? And while it's not a must to go to failure, of course, especially on a recovery day, it is possible because if you see the reps that I did, they were slow and controlled. You know, there were no partial reps. So in that way, in that science-based way, you're kind of limiting yourself to only really specifically target one muscle group. You're not, you know, basically pushing yourself or forcing yourself to push out more reps by, compensating in other areas. You're not doing partial reps. And basically by doing those controlled reps, right, to failure, yes, you hit failure, but it's different. It's not like this absolute massive horsecock way of hitting failure, like things you see guys do on bench, right, where they just spam these fucking reps. No, it's completely different. It's a controlled environment, and basically, it has its usages, right? I don't want to do training like this every time because then I feel like I'm missing out on like the really intense stuff. But it's ideal if you want to, target muscle growth, target muscle recovery, while also uh, basically training to failure, right? That's kind of the point here. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to some pistol squats here. But just body weight, right? I'm able to do pistol squats with 54 kilos, right? So this is not hard at all on the fucking body. It's easy, right? But at the same time, I'm not using a towel like below my mat. Usually, I will have like a higher elevation under my heel to basically help for mobility. Today, I'm not doing that. I'm just using the mat because just the floor is not yet possible for me. But this will train my mobility. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 5 sets of 10 pistol squats. So it's a bit of a higher volume. Again, getting the blood flowing, getting the recovery going. Because if blood enters the area, all the little nutrients are entering the muscle, allowing your body to recover. All the damaged tissue or whatever is in the muscle is going to get flown out. So yeah, useful training. And at the same time, I'm able to train mobility, which is a weak spot of mine. So, even though today is a weekday, is a recovery day, whatever, right? There is so much stuff that I'm still able to do. And that's the case for everyone. You just have to think about what would be beneficial in my given situation. And then you'll find answers if you really, want to find them. Some people, they have or I think a lot of people, they have the ability to do something, right? But they just choose not to. They choose not to do anything. So they'll convince themselves like, oh, today I'm tired. I am absolutely unable to train. But that's just an excuse, right? You're kind of pep talking yourself into not training because it's the easy way out. And for many people, that's not even a conscious decision. But once you can get over that, once you can get into the mindset of what am I able to do, asking yourself that question, you'll find that you're able to do a lot of stuff. And while you might not want to do it, you know in your head, in your mind, that doing it will give you better outcomes in the long run compared to not doing anything at all. So enough yapping, let's get to the pistol squats. Oh yeah, I feel fucking stiff as hell. 1 sit every 2 minutes, 5 sits for each leg, so 20 minutes of joy. Mudkeep! Not yet, not yet. This is so difficult. One day I'll be able to do it again, but for now, I think we can work some more on mobility. I mean, I really don't feel like it, doing some deep lunges here, but if I ask myself the question, will it help my mobility? The answer is yes. And if I ask myself, will it hinder my recovery? The answer is no. So there's no excuse not to do it, So in order for me to get a good night's sleep tonight, it's better that I just take 5 minutes extra and do some fucking deep lunges right now, because these will help with ankle mobility and such, hip mobility. So yeah, very nice exercise. I'm just gonna do them against the wall here so that I can measure how far my knee goes forward. Or at least I've never done this before. That's what I want to attempt. Yeah, you can see my knees hitting the wall. Right. Okay, that's it. So if you're wondering, the reason I don't go all the way up is because I'm doing this exercise for the stretch. And the stretch is at the bottom, so when I come up, yes, it's hard on my muscle, but I'm giving the stretch a rest, which I don't want to do too much. So instead, I just take off the stretch a little bit and then go back into it, putting the pressure of my body onto the stretch so that I can go further and further and further. So that's why I only do the bottom half, or even third, I guess. But that's it for today's training. Let's discuss. Okay, so let's see if the lighting is a little bit better here. But that's it for today's leg workout. I mean, one thing about these fucking workouts when you're feeling like shit, right? You can feel however shit you want to feel, but there's only one thing, right? You're gonna get a pump, and that's inevitable. So, I can sit in the couch right there. You're gonna get a good pump anyway. And, I guess there's a difference between like an insane pump and a good pump, but they both feel good, right? So even if you feel like shit, if you just get the blood flowing a little bit, right, you're gonna feel better. And with this mobility work as well, the blood gets flowing. Those pistol squats are harder than I want to admit, because especially on the left leg, I am stiff as a pole of steel. I'll say that much. I do not bend. So I fall backwards if I don't have support under my heels. But towards the end, the ones where I had just the mat under my feet, they did start to become a little bit easier. I was becoming a bit more loose. So yeah, that's very nice. I just have to keep doing those until basically I have the mobility required. And days like these are perfect because I'm not doing any heavy pistol squats anyway, so I might as well transfer that volume onto fucking mobility work. And these days really do make the difference. If in 2-3 years everything goes well and I'm still doing this fucking YouTube thing, right? And I'll be doing fucking insane workouts compared to what I'm doing right now. It's gonna be because of the days I'm having right now, because of the shitty days that I'm still working out. And that's not only for me, that's also for you. If you have your goals like long term, right, a couple of years down the line, you want to improve yourself, right? When you look back, like picture yourself in the future, right? When you're right there, in the future, and you look back on the time now, what do you want to tell yourself, right? Oh, fuck, I didn't do anything, right? Is that what you want to tell yourself? Or do you want to, be able to say to yourself that, holy fucking shit, I gave it my all. Even if you didn't reach your final goal, right? When you look back on things and you notice that you just gave it your all, I mean, you're gonna be happy because just like it's not really the goal, right? No one like there is no lessons to learn from squatting 75 kilos on one leg in particular. There is no lesson to learn from holding a planche for 20 seconds. The lessons you learn is along the way, when you reach difficult times and you have to adapt, improvise, and overcome, right? Like it's a meme, but it's true as well. You have to, improvise, adapt, and overcome. You have to get around all those obstacles. You have to, trust yourself that you're able to do it. You have to like pep talk yourself when you don't want to do shit, right? And that's why these days that you don't feel like doing anything are very important. And I'm gonna say it one more time. That's why training every day is so fucking powerful, in my opinion, because it gives no leeway for any excuse. There is no question. You have to train today, and like no questions asked. No matter how shit you feel, no matter what happened, no matter how little sleep you got, no matter how bad your nutrition is, it's all on you. And by not allowing yourself any rest days, by just doing something no matter how shit you feel, I mean, you're gonna learn how to adapt, improvise, adapt, and overcome. You're gonna learn how to face adversity. You're gonna learn how to, get out of like squeeze something out of nothing basically, and that's very important. So it started off as hey, you can do mobility on days that you were tired, but I guess like in general the problem or the lesson is way wider, right? I mean, yes, you can do mobility, but you can also do so many other things. You can just do some pump stuff. You can even do some fucking, well, stretching is mobility as well. But you know if you think about your goals, you can always figure out something to do no matter what the situation you're in. So that's it for today's training. I'm gonna have a shower and have some breakfast. But yeah. Ooh. Can you see the legs? Wow. Today I bloated back up to fucking 73.5 kilos, which is 1 kilo more than yesterday. I don't know what happened. Maybe I'm retaining some water because of all the stress on my body, but hey, I'm gonna take it. We have to go get up to 75 kilos anyway, so peace. I'll see you tomorrow.